My name is Priscilla Stultz. I currently wakeboard and snowboard on a ambassador sponsored level. I do a lot more of mentoring, inspiring, and coaching now as I used to as a competitor out pushing girls. I do still compete in both. For the mentor and inspiration side, I have a lot of younger girls that look up to me and the older girls that we ride together. And so I'll go out and compete to push them, to make them try harder, to make them try for that trick, whatever it is, snowboarding or wakeboarding. That's kind of where I'm at now. So I'm on an individual team, not technically a team, but I do ride with a bunch of girls. I know a bunch of girls, and we all competed against each other, but it's not a team sport. I grew up, though, from young until college, playing team sports. I was a gymnast for 14 years. On top of being a gymnast, I speed skated. I did soccer, softball on a competitive level, and high school I did mostly speed skating. I know that's weird to say. I don't know if any of y'all even know much about speed skating, but it was roller skating because I'm from Tennessee, so we don't have much ice, and so I just more for. It was fun. It was a solo sport. And it strengthened me for running when I sprinted and did different base running and all that stuff. So a lot of times for me, I did sports that would benefit other things. I wanted to go to college playing softball, so it's like I knew when I did certain things that I'm strengthening my, sprints, my takeoffs, like all kinds of stuff like that. And into college, I did play a little college ball. I went to UT Martin, or University of Tennessee at Martin, and their team folded. And so from there, I left the university, or UT Martin, and went to the University of Memphis, which is where I then graduated with a sports business degree. But in the process, we didn't have a softball team. It's a Division I school, we didn't have a softball team. So for me, having all the experience that I have with coaching and being a part of the team, I decided to start a club team. We had already Title IX, the university Title IX, getting another sport in, and they were battling between softball and swimming. Well, getting my degree in sport business and going through all these sport management classes and all this, my paper was specifically towards swimming, the pros and cons from swimming and softball to bring it in. So I started the club team, I got the girls out, we had a solid, fun team. It wasn't like a super competitive team. We practiced, we played all the local universities, community colleges, and then after writing my paper, my professors submitted it to the university. It was the actual final draw on us getting a softball team. So I think the semester I graduated from the University of Memphis, I got a phone call saying, thanks to your paper and everything that you put into it, the dedication, that we now have decided to bring on a softball team over a swim team. So they wanted us to come out and try out, which was cool. I was graduating, so I had no intentions on making the team. I was going out more for support with the girls that were playing on my club team that had played for 2 years, I think now, and she was only picking 2 players, and like I said, I was out more for support, and she ended up picking me and another girl out of the 32 girls I think that played. So that was kind of a huge accomplishment, like a big thing for me. Not only, I figured for me, my college career for playing softball was over. I was a senior, I was about to graduate. Now its next step is to get a job and start real life, right? I ended up they didn't have a grad assistant money at the time, so I ended up giving my position to someone else coming out of high school, which was, to give them the possibility. So that was kind of like my big thing, I guess, in college, is not so much playing on a team, but building that to allow the girls to have the opportunity to play for the University of Memphis and get out that. Then I decided to move to Washington and knew no one and always enjoyed the mountains and the water. Met a group of boys, and this is kind of, I think we were speaking of this earlier, how I've always been around females who are strong, independent. They're not scared to race against the boys. They're not scared to do anything against the guys. And I come out here and I meet all these girls who had never done things because they felt they hold the boys back. They're always apologizing. And it was like, wait, what? No, like, you know, and I started to see this big picture of all these females who wanted to try snowboarding, who wanted to try wakeboarding, but they never had anyone there to push them, to get out with them and show them that you could do it. So then I started with wakeboarding and snowboarding coaching. That's kind of actually how I taught myself how to snowboard, was I coached snowboarding. I coached the beginners, and then I would work my way up. And along the way, I got involved with the SAS, which is Sisters in Action Sports, and that's what we do. We get out, we inspire, we mentor, we build confidence. We get girls that say they never could do something, and we say, yeah, right, let's go. We take them out. They meet other girls that are on the same level with what they do, and they kind of, you feed off of each other, you know, and that's where the confidence is built. It's like, okay, I can do this. She can do this, you know. The injuries that Dr. Weber has experienced with me, I am an adrenaline junkie. I push myself. I drop 25th cliffs. I do backflips off of 30-foot cliffs. It's like I don't think. And then thought I was indestructible until I went out at a competition, 3-4 years ago? Yeah. And same routine. I do my same run every time. Did a backflip, came down, and I thought I blew my knee out. I automatically went to my knee. I ended up shattering my tibia. So a tibia plateau fracture. So when I hit, my femur went through the knee, obviously shattered tibia. And, you know, I was like, okay, here it is. I forgot to tell you my age. I'm 37 now, but at the time this happened, I was 34. So I'm going, okay, I'm done. This is it, you know, whatever. I go through everything and get the surgery. My doctors, between my physical therapy and my ortho, was like, well, what's your goal? I was like, I want to be back on my snowboard. This happened in August. I want to be back on my snowboard to get the last of the season in 6 months. They all laughed. I said, okay. Me being an athlete, not knowing who I am, as soon as my stitches healed, I got in the water. I did all my strength conditioning in the water as much as I could, and got into PT, which the PT, I did more for myself as an athlete, knowing what my body can handle and what couldn't handle as I, you know, going through water therapy. And saw Dr. Weber a few times, just, you know, adjusting hips, getting the back going. And I went in on my 6-month visit to my ortho, and he goes, all right, you're cleared to snowboard. He goes, I never ever thought that I would ever say this. At the time, they told me I would never be on the, you know, doing backflips and anything like that ever again. And I was like, yeah, right, you don't know me. You don't know me, I'm an athlete. You know, I guess it's drilled in us. We're trained to heal ourselves, to continue doing what we love. And that injury, and for having these doctors, the first surgery, first anything that I've had, 2 plates and 9 screws in my tibia, and it also got me into strength conditioning, learning more about my body on that side of things, and now I'm definitely stronger, healthier, and have more of a drive to get, when people injure themselves, not to give up, to keep going. So that's kind of like my story and where I'm at now. But, yeah.
Oh, and she did that backflip and landed it correctly. She went so high and came down, it drove her femur right through her.
Yeah, so when you go in, I don't know if anyone know much about wakeboarding, but you're towed behind a boat, and the line, back in the day, the line used to be like tubing. It would be pulled from the boat. Well, now there's a tower on the top of the boat, and the rope comes down. So I'm actually using this as my pivot point, and all I do is rotate around the rope. With the speed of the boat and the way the board goes in, the handle stays here. So when I went in and went up, they said I was at least a solid 5 feet above the tower of the boat. So just think, the tower's already probably 12 feet, I think, up, so I was another high. I just tripped it wrong, which then allowed me to go higher. So when I came down, I had no slack. I just came straight off. It's like dropping from two-foot building straight onto your feet onto the grass. And it was like, bam, done deal. I saw it coming, as I was saying earlier. You see, for me, when I'm falling, I see it coming. I know I'm about to fall. I know, and so you learn how to fall. That's kind of weird to say, but you do. You learn how to fall. And I knew I was falling, and I was like, oh, here we go. And there's nothing I could do because I was just going straight down. But I could go back and hit my head, or I could try to just hope for the best. And if I braced it with the strength in my hips and everything, that I would take it. No, I didn't, because it obviously shattered my whole leg.
Yeah, that's on water.
Yeah, that's not an overuse injury. That's like
No,
Yeah.
that's a power injury.
Yeah, and it literally was a trick that I do every day, 3 or 4 times every time I go out to ride, and it happened. But it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because it taught me so much about myself. I'm in my mid-30s by this time, and it taught me to never give up, to push, and to look at my health. Because it was like, maybe if I was stronger, that wouldn't have happened. Maybe if I was eating the right things, putting the right things in my body, I wouldn't, not just taking vitamins, that doesn't count, because I was taking vitamins. But yeah, and then now for me, I've taken a completely switch and working with, I volunteer with the nonprofit, the SAS, their Sisters in Action Sports. I'm now in school for radiology. So I'm, yeah, so I'm like, we're going through the books, and I was like, oh, I broke that. Oh, I did that. Oh, that's what that's supposed to look like.
That's right.
So, yeah.
That's why I do what I do too. They call us wounded healers.
Yes, yeah.
But also, the other day, the boat show was, how long ago was that?
In January.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, look up, there she is there's this huge picture of her on the commercial, and she's like, upside down behind a boat.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Everyone's like, do you know you're on TV? And I'm like, wait, what? But they use it for the boat show.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope my ortho and my physical therapy both said that I would never be back getting upside down on a wakeboard and competing and pushing. See that.
Yeah.
Because you don't do that. You don't tell someone that they'll never be able to do this again. Dr. Weber has done it. I've injured my lower back, and he goes, okay, I'm not going to tell you what you can't do. I'm just going to tell you what you can do and what you should think about before you do it. Because then I'm like, okay, fine. I can get out and I can keep my board on the water or on the snow, still keep the core engaged going, and I won't drop a 20-foot cliff.
That's right. Not yet.
Not yet. So, but yeah, that's me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.